today on Lead Well, I want to talk about the fact that leadership is communication. In his book, Conviction to Lead, Dr. Albert Mohler hits on this very point as he talks about that in order to lead well, you have to have something that you want to communicate, a message that you really believe in, that you really trust, that really matters to you, and then communicate that message to those that follow you, to those that you lead. That leadership is about communication, that you can't lead those who you don't communicate with. That part of leadership is being able to have a vision and to cast that vision. And to cast vision requires communication, requires me being able to communicate what I think and feel and believe and I'm passionate about, and communicate that to the people that I'm leading, the people that are following me. This is especially true for Christians, right? Because we do have a message that we care about. We have a message that we believe, a message that we're passionate about, a message that we believe is more important than any other message on every town, every city, every workplace, every home, school, across all the face of the planet. We have the message of the Lord Jesus Christ. So that it does matter that we communicate well. And Dr. Mohler lists three really important keys to communication. First, leaders must communicate clearly. That we strive to be understood. We strive to be clear in what we say. And leaders also must communicate consistently, meaning that we don't contradict ourselves, that we continue to say the same message again and again and again, and we communicate repeatedly, right? So that as we say the same message, we're saying it again and again and again. When I think about leadership, the first place I think about is my home. I think about the way that I lead my family, and particularly my children. If I could go back and talk to younger Chris and talk to him about what being a parent would be like, I think I would warn him that parenting was going to be hard, but I think I would warn the younger me that parenting was going to be relentless. I think as a young man, before I had kids, I just thought, leading kids is going to be easy, right? I'll clearly lay out the expectations for them. I'll always be consistent in my expectations for them. I'll correct them when they break those rules or they step out of bounds of the expectations, and they'll very easily be corrected, and they'll listen to me, and they'll move on. And now I'm realizing now as a parent of a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, that's just not how the world works, right? That parenting is relentless, that it requires constant, clear communication. Being clear with my kids about what's expected of them. It requires consistent communication, making sure that I'm saying the same thing that my wife is saying, that I'm saying the same thing that I said 3 days ago or 30 minutes ago, or that I'm going to say the same thing 5 hours from now, that I'm always being consistent. That way I can be trusted when I communicate with my kids, and that I'm going to have to repeat myself a lot. It's going to take years and years of discipline and correction and reminder of what the boundaries are and where the expectations for our family are as set by the Lord. And so that communication is going to have to be clear. It's going to have to be consistent, and it's going to have to be repeated. I'm going to say the same things over and over and over again, and that's not a hassle. That's leadership. It's being willing to communicate, to have a message you care about and to communicate it clearly. So if you're leading in the school, you're leading in your workplace, in your family, in your church, that you can't be silent. You can't leave it communication to other people. You can't leave communication to impersonal means like email or text. That you've got to be willing to stand in front of somebody and to clearly communicate the message that you have. As a Christian, you always have the message of the gospel, but as a boss, as an employee, as a teacher, you might have other important messages about your institution or the institution that you lead that you need to communicate. Seek to communicate clearly, consistently, and repeatedly. That real, good, godly leadership is communication.